WKGC, Panama City.
Welcome back to Doing Dinner. Welcome to Doing Dinner with me, Chef Chris. I'm your host, and this is 90.7 WKGC from the beautiful studios at Gulf Coast State College, NPR. And I would like to say good afternoon, dinner detectives, and welcome back to another delicious episode of Doing Dinner with me, Chef Chris. Now, today's show is not just dinner. It's a mystery, a murder mystery to be exact. Sound familiar? We do a lot of those these days. A lot of murder mystery dinners go on. Now, someone's been off in the billiard room, or was it the library? Was it with a candlestick? Or perhaps the carving knife? As a chef, I would use the carving knife, Karen. That's right. Today we're throwing a clue-themed dinner party. A gathering where your guests won't just be dining, they'll be solving. So grab your notepad, pour yourself a glass of something mysterious, preferably nice wine, and get ready to plan a party that would make Miss Scarlett blush and Colonel Mustard raise a brow. I always loved the name Colonel Mustard. How fun is that? But let's set the table with a little backstory, because with every great mystery starts with a little bit of history. And in segment 1 of the show, we always talk about the history of what we're talking about, what we're planning. So, Clue, the game that's equal parts parlor intrigue and childhood nostalgia for a lot of us, actually began not in a stately English manner, but uniquely enough in a bomb shelter during World War II. And that year was 1943. A British musician named Anthony Pratt, who played piano in country homes during the 1930s, came up with the idea for a murder mystery game to entertain folks stuck inside during air raids during World War II. He and his wife, Elva was her name, designed the game, and it was originally called Murder. And they pitched it to a game company in a city called Leeds, owned by a family called Waddingtons. And by 1949, the game was picked up by the Parker brothers in the United States and renamed Clue. In the UK, it retained its original name, which is Cluedo, a play on Ludo, which is the Latin word for I play. And it has characters in it. And these characters have become synonymous throughout history and, quite frankly, a global icon. This is a game that has inspired lots of dinner parties, which is quite interesting. We do tons of murder mystery dinners now, in all different walks, in all different ways, in all different themes. But it all originated with this game, invented in 1943 in bomb raid shelters in London, in England, which is pretty interesting. So let's talk about some of the characters of the game. We have Miss Scarlet, and we have Professor Plum, and we have Colonel Mustard, Miss Peacock, Mr. Green, and Miss White. I always thought it was Miss White who did it. It's always Miss White.
I was always thinking Colonel Mustard with the candlestick, you know.
Yeah, Colonel Mustard with the candlestick maybe, but, you know, I always felt it was Miss White. You know, she's the housekeeper. She has access to everywhere, and it just makes sense for it to be the housekeeper, but...
You're right.
Yeah. I mean, Colonel Mustard just reminds me of Colonel Sanders, and I love fried chicken, so it's hard. It's hard for me to blame the blistering military man that he was. But Miss Peacock, too, you know. All elegance, lots of secrets. Mr. Green always felt a little too polished to me. Professor Plum, definitely a suspicious academic. And Miss Scarlet, she's always up to something. But then, of course, there's weapons and rooms, and each element is designed to push players into deduction, deceit, and dramatic acquisitions. Now, we fast forward to 1985, and something happens with the game Clue, and it gets Hollywood treatment. And as we know with anything, once Hollywood picks it up, who knows where it's going to go. And it starred a cult classic film with Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, Christopher Lloyd. It's a masterclass in camp comedy and clever plotting. But what made this movie special is it had 3 endings, and theaters would randomly show the different ones. And it could have happened this way, or perhaps this way, or how about this? Which is a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the game ends how you play it, right?
I love games like that.
Yeah, me too. And it's a lot of fun, and I think it does invent and create amazing dinner parties. And the reason we're doing Clue today is because I'm actually doing a Clue party in September. And I'm catering it with me and my team, and we are going to be part of the game. So 2 of the stations in this house, and it's a very, very, very large home. There's going to be about 50 people there. We will be part of the clues, and 2 of the dishes are very, very based on the whodunit idea, and so that will help the guests decide on who won the party, or who created the murder, and who gets to say that they won the party. But I'm working really hard on this one to make it where it is hard to guess. It can't be too easy, you know. It's got to be something that makes people think and have fun and entertains them for 3 or 4 hours.
Something they'll never forget.
Something they'll never forget. It is for a 50th birthday party too, which is always a really, really fun time. People love on those numbers like 50 to have these big blowouts and these really fun parties, and that's a lot of fun. But I always thought that like Clue was like a party favorite.
For sure.
You know, it's a really fun game to play.
It is. It's a staple of your childhood, of everybody's childhood.
I think so, yeah. And, I mean, in the years since all of this has happened, I mean, there's been multiple books and graphic novels. There's been a miniseries. There's been a stage play. There's been countless themed dinner parties, murder mystery kits, and fan homages across the board to it. It's even made its appearances in all the pop culture stuff like The Simpsons and Family Guy and South Park and all of these things. Because it's really now just more than a board game. Yes, it originated as a board game, but now it's like cultural language. It's an icon. We all know what it means when someone says, it was Professor Plum in the study with a rope.
Yeah.
You know? And that's really cool, because now you're playing with big history and lots of ideas, because sometimes when we do dinner parties, we have to take inspiration from somewhere else, right? Mm-hmm. We're not all super creative people. And that's okay. We don't have to be, because sometimes the groundwork is laid for us throughout history or through people doing it before us, and that's a good thing. So you can't ignore the impact on the dinner party circuit that this game created, specifically with murder mystery parties. They surged in popularity in the 1980s through the early 2000s, and recently, because dinner parties have become more on the scene, seen a resurgence, especially post-pandemic. People crave immersion and interaction and social gatherings, and they want to have fun in a different way than what they used to. So, you know, today I think we honor the legacy of Clue with a dinner party that's going to blend food and storytelling and a lot of just play. So, yeah. And the menu's going to be a lot of fun. I like doing the menu for Clue because I think we're going to do like a cold station that's going to have like what we're going to call poisoned fruit skewers. And this is, first, always drink safely.
Yes.
If you're going to drink, always drink safely. This is a party for adults, okay? And we're going to have poisoned fruit skewers, which are going to be like marinated with tequila. And like chili lime tahine, which is this. Tahine is, for those that don't know, if you've ever had street corn, it's like this chili lime seasoning that you can buy at most supermarkets now, or any store pretty much at this. I think I've even seen it at gas stations or service stations across the country, that you can use to sprinkle on fruit that we've soaked and marinated in tequila. So it kind of has like this fun like margarita type play on it. Definitely a twist. But I want to do fortune cookies too, with like homemade fortunes in them. And surprisingly enough, fortune cookies are very easy to make. Pretty simple. A lot easier than you think they would.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, very simple, very few ingredients. It's like flour and salt and sugar and some egg whites, and like very simple to make.
How do some restaurants mess them up? That's a whole nother show.
I mean, no, they just buy them, but we're going to make them, and the reason we're going to make them is because we want to put our own clues in them.
Yes.
You know? So we're inventing clues. So there's like a tiny piece of paper in these clues, and I think that would be cool. And I think you got to. Whenever I do dinner parties, especially ones like this, I love to play homage and into the heritage of where the topic came from. And one of the things that's great about English culture is tea time. So I think we make some like cucumber and crab tea sandwiches, which are very traditional and very classic. But I want to serve them in like these really cool boxes that have like maybe clues or diversions on them. You can get as creative as you want to with it, but I think that would be kind of cool. And then I want to use, I love making risotto. It's one of my very favorite dishes to make. And I think it's really good with a vegetable that a lot of people kind of turn their nose up to, which is beets. Because beets are red and they give off this like blood hints, and you can make this really red risotto and serve it like in cool little glasses. That would be fun and interactive somehow. And I think like some fried chicken sliders, and then have like little bones or candlesticks or something as the picks.
Even like little, I'm sure you could find some sort of, something else, maybe like a butcher knife.
Yeah, for sure. They're out there. I've scoured Amazon and the interwebs, and you can find all kinds of like clue-themed things because it's been done a million times. But I like to involve the food in it, so maybe some picks that have like some kind of cool little ode to the game or the whodunit idea, or even to like put your guest off. Maybe a interactive slider station where one of the sliders is actually who did it, and then the other sliders kind of put people off. So if you get the burger, it's who did it.
Yeah.
And maybe the pulled pork could be different and the chicken could be different. And I think another good one to play into English culture and what they do is like lamb lollipops with like some type of red wine glaze, just because it gives that red feel, and maybe serve those like with have that to be an action station where somebody's like carving these lollipops with a chef's knife, and they kind of like are built into the theme of it. And they could give a verbal clue. I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, Clue is a cool game. And I think one thing I found very interesting about it is originally in the game there were 11 rooms, and then a couple of them were eliminated. And unfortunately one of them which was the cellar. The cellar's not in the game anymore. Yeah, I know. That would have been perfect. And that's understandable. And then there were 9 weapons. There was a bomb, a syringe, a shillelagh is what they call it. It's like a walking stick. There was a fireplace poker, and then axe and poison were also included in different versions, which is kind of fun. So this game has been it has transformed over the years, and I think it's a lot of fun to play into it. It's very detective-like, and it makes us think. It's kind of bringing Sherlock Holmes home to the dinner party, which I really, really love that. And, you think about where... I think it inspired things like the Pink Panther,
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I feel like it'll bring back memories of childhood as well.
Absolutely. Sherlock Holmes, like all of these things that you could build into this game to where it's like murder mystery or ideas or like English culture and tutors and manors and mansions and all of these fun things, because the cool part is like you can play who you want to play, We all know a Miss Scarlet. We all know a Colonel Mustard. We all have a Miss White in our life, and a Mr. Green and a Miss Peacock and a Professor Plum. I hope I'm not Professor Plum. I guess I could be Colonel Mustard. That would make sense. No. It's probably, I don't know, Chef White. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
that works.
I think I could be Mr. White, not Miss White. But either way,
you can make it work.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that the weapons are cool too. They're unique and they're fun. The candlestick, the dagger, lead pipe, revolver, rope, and wrench, which in the English version is called a spanner.
A spanner?
Yeah, this game is like, in different countries have different versions of it, which is cool. And then we think about like the rooms, and unfortunately not all of us have these types of rooms in our house, but if you did this in a big enough home, we would know that it does have a kitchen and a dining room. Definitely has a billiard room and a library and a study and a conservatory, ballrooms and halls, but it's fun, and it creates rules that allow us to deduce the details of murder, which I love. Cards and envelopes and all of those things. Did you know that there's actually 324 possibilities on the game?
No.
Yeah, 324.
Wow.
That's just what it is. 6 characters, 6 murder weapons, and 9 rooms, leaving the players with 324 possibilities.
To back it up a little bit, you're saying who you could be. Who do you think I would be?
You would probably be Miss Scarlet.
I like that. I always liked Miss Scarlet.
Miss Scarlet. You'd probably be holding like a gin drink or something. Probably like one of those really long old school cigarettes. You know what I'm saying? With a filter on it.
There you go.
Very 1920s, roaring 20s vibe.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that this game needs to be played in a roaring 20s atmosphere.
Definitely.
Especially from the American perspective. So maybe speakeasy-like. I think it would be fun. So. Are
people are the folks that are at the dinner party, are they gonna be dressed?
Absolutely.
They
always have to.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely. We always have to have some type of stage play into our dinner parties. Not all of them get that, but some of them do, and Clue is one that everyone has to be involved.
Yeah.
Everyone is playing. Everyone that comes is playing the game. Or they're at least part of the game in somehow. And that's what I see about it. But, now that we've dusted off the history books, lit a candle in the drawing room, it's time to step into the deliciously deadly details of the night. Coming up next, I'll walk you through a menu to die for. Literally, stick around. This is 90.7 WKGC, Doing Dinner with Chef Chris.
Why do you visit a museum?
I think that's the most important thing about a museum, is that you leave there thinking differently.
Take another look at the controversies over museum collections.
If we didn't argue about them, we might as well forget about them.
And get to know Seoul, South Korea.
It's a terrific place to be jet-lagged because it's a 24-hour kind of city.
On the next Travel with Rick Steves. Sunday afternoons at 2 on WKGC FM 90.7, Panama City.
Next time on Real Talk, we are joined by film critic E.J. Moreno to review the new horror film Weapons by writer-director Zach Krager, creator of 2022's hit Barbarian. Join the conversation Monday at 1 Eastern, 12 Central on WKGC.
On the next Putumayo World Music Hour,
we'll salute the musical wizards who work behind the scenes in the recording studios.
Track KX, take 1.
I'm Dan Storper.
And I'm Rosalie Howard. Join us for World Music Producers, the next Putumayo World Music Hour.
Sundays at 4 p.m. on WKGC.
Welcome back to Doing Dinner on 90.7 WKGC. This is Chef Chris, your host, and today we are planning a Clue party. Yeah, that's right. And you can't solve a murder. I just want you to say you cannot solve a murder on an empty stomach. So let's get into that menu we teased in segment 1. And today's dinner is designed not to just feed, but to tease, tempt, and tantalize you. Think interactive stations, playful dishes, and clues literally baked into bites. Each food station ties into a room or character from the Clue Mansion, and every guest gets to become part of the game. And that's the fun of doing a murder mystery dinner, which are, at this point, a lot of people would be like, oh, Chris, they're kind of overdone. But I'm like, they are to a certain extent, but they can get very elaborate. And the more elaborate, the more fun. I really believe that. So I think this party needs to be stations. And what I mean by that is when we do dinner parties, sometimes they're plated, and sometimes they have buffets, and then sometimes they have stations, or any other type of catering. Typically now we're starting to see more station work at weddings, which is fine, and I prefer that actually because it's easier to clean and it's usually separates your guests a little bit, spreads things out. But like we talked about earlier, Station 1, I think, needs to be based in the conservatory, which is like an inside garden, essentially. That's what it is. So I'm thinking cold foods and salads and things of that nature. The poison fruit skewers, which are marinated with tequila. And you could use any tequila you like. I think a silver tequila is best here. And I want to use chili lime tahini, so it's going to have a little heat to it. It's going to be tangy. It's going to taste like an edible margarita. At least that's the idea of it. So,
yummy.
Yeah, with a bunch of mint and like, we could even do like some black cherries with it or something like that make it kind of mysterious and like new. But yeah, I think those would be good. And one thing to remember when you are, like what we would call spike things with alcohol, you remember it's going to taste like alcohol. So you got to be careful. A little bit goes a long way in this sense. You don't want your guests just eating a bunch of fruit and then a little bit too tipsy. And they'll be like, who did it? And you're like, the poison fruit skewers did it. But yeah. And then I want to serve the fortune cookies. And I have made them before. I did them for a really cool event a couple years ago. And they're actually a lot easier than I thought. You do need a silpat, which is kind of like this non-stick pat that goes into cookie trays or stainless steel trays. But yeah, they're way easier than I imagined they would be. And you like just bake them in these circles and you fold them while they're hot and you slip in the little clues. So, and the clues weren't hard to make. Like I put actual fortunes into mine that were like a lot of fun. And, or you could do something with like edible rice paper. I think that the cucumber and crab tea sandwiches, which are a nod to British heritage, need to be served in like some type of box. And
you could even serve them in like a board game box.
You could serve them in an actual clue box, which would be cool.
Yeah, I was thinking about that a few minutes ago. I was like, that would be really awesome.
Yeah. And then you could probably find, actually I know you can find on Amazon, or on any of the party websites online, you can find actual clue pieces that are toothpicks.
Yeah.
So like each piece is a person, or is a character from the game, and then you could use that in like the sandwiches. So people are like, some of them are actually whodunit, you know. So it's like the people who get the cucumber are like, oh, and there could be a riddle there. Like it could be whatever riddle you want to make, and we could think of those things, and then that riddle is for that piece, and whoever's manning that station could be saying the riddle, and you get to choose whatever you want to eat, but the reality is one of them is a clue to who actually committed the murder.
Choose wisely.
Yeah, choose wisely. You know, choose wisely. What food is wise? No. I don't know. I don't know what food is wise.
Yeah, I don't know. I never thought about it.
Me neither. I think, yeah, you can't do that. But anyway, Station 2, I think I want to do like as a crime scene. And it needs to be in the kitchen.
Yes.
So, and it's very interactive. This one will be hyper interactive, right? So we're thinking hot things like the red beet risotto shooters. And risotto is not actually a dish. It is the technique of making a certain rice. So it's like slow stewing, almost slowly adding liquid. In this case, we would probably use chicken stock or beet stock because this one could be vegetarian if you wanted. Mm-hmm. But risotto shooters, so served in little cups that are like beet red. So you just take beets and roast them off in the oven and season them with salt and pepper. This can be served very simply because risotto is a very heavy, flavorful dish. And it would be bright red. And then I think these fried chicken sandwiches served with murder mustard, which we are calling murder mustard, which is like Dijon. And I would take Dijon mustard and whole grain mustard, the ones with the pickled mustard seeds in it.
Yeah.
Mix that together and put that on like a fried chicken sandwich or slider, with some type of cool toothpick as well that signals some type of clue, whether it's like candlesticks or they're all out there. That's the beauty of this game. Like it's very, very what would we say? customizable.
Yeah, perfect word. I was trying to think.
It can be customized in a lot of different ways. And then I would have a chef stationed or somebody stationed there carving either like prime rib or like lamb lollipops, and talking about like the chef's knife or something that could be used as the game's murder mystery. Because the reality is you don't have to use the pieces from the game if you don't want to, right? Like you can invent your own items, weapons, I guess we would say. And then station number 3. I think whatever we do, flip-flop, I think station number 3 needs to be in the study. So it kind of has to be food that makes you feel like royal or regal, because not everybody has studies. I guess we would call that offices in the U.S., but the study is kind of like a library, I feel.
Yeah.
But it's not quite a library. It's more like a place that you would work.
So what would you serve in an area like that?
I think I would do like, number one, I think guests to get into the study should have to answer some type of riddle, which would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, some type of riddle to get in. And it would be a simple one that everyone could probably eventually guess. But if we do lamb lollipops on the other station, I would really like to do prime rib on this station, because I think prime rib is just, it's fun and it's easy and everyone really loves it. I would love to serve like some type of horseradish cream here. And I really, really like prime rib. And then I would probably serve like some like roasted rosemary potatoes alongside of it. Just a very regal, like simple, like meal here. And then station 4, definitely library. Station 4, I want to make the library the bar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that.
And I think we need to serve classic cocktails. Like 20s cocktails would be a lot of fun. So we're thinking like a Negroni. So a Negroni is gin, and sweet vermouth, and Campari, which is a very classic cocktail. It's also red, which is fun. And probably one of the most popular drinks around now, which is the old fashioned. But I want to do it as Colonel Mustard's old fashioned. And if you scour the interwebs, you can find mustard bitters, which is kind of cool. Normally, an old-fashioned is made with Peychaud bitters or orange bitters, but there's so many different takes on the old-fashioned now. Mm-hmm. Traditionally, it's just very simple: ice, bourbon, and bitters. So I think with a mustard bitters would be really, really cool. Something that your guests probably have never had. You could even smoke it if you wanted to. A lot of people are doing smoked old-fashions now. That would give like some theatrics involved. And that would be fun. And then I want to do like a drink called Plum's Poison, which is, I've always really loved in very interactive parties using dry ice. And the reason is because it does two things. Number one, it looks cool. Mm-hmm. It looks really cool, right?
Definitely.
Number two, it keeps things cold, which is also really good. But it helps scent. And I want to do like this blackberry infused vodka cocktail with dry ice, which is just going to fill the room with this like blackberry scent. And I want to do some really cool wine bottles, but instead of the label being the label, we put new labels on them, which are like evidence tags instead of traditional wine labels. So we have clues on these wine bottles throughout the space of the library, clues in the books and all kinds of things. This is where people are going to take a second, they're going to enjoy a cocktail, and maybe this is a roaming tasting menu. It's kind of what it's setting up to do. I have not to interrupt you, but a suggestion from Ryan, our general manager, a pink lady. A pink lady. We could do a pink lady cocktail for sure. And how clever is Ryan? I know, right? Yeah, we could even use pink lady apples in the cocktail, which would be fun. And that's kind of cool. Yeah, why not? I think classic cocktails are a lot of fun. And a pink lady, for those who don't know what it is it's a gin cocktail with applejack or apple brandy. and then lemon juice and grenadine, and they take egg whites when they shake it. So it has like, it's pink on the bottom and white on the top, and then usually it's garnished with a brandied cherry. Yeah, it's a very cool drink. It's not one that you see too often anymore, but it is a really, really cool drink. The grenadine makes it pink, which is why it's a pink lady. But it is cool, and I like that. I might be doing a pink lady at my party, actually, because I like that idea. And it's not a super, a lot of times classic cocktails can be overly boozy, and the pink lady is one that is not, which is quite lovely, actually.
And I have a confession. I've never heard of any of these classic drinks, but they sound so intriguing.
Yeah, so classic cocktails came about mostly in England and New York and Chicago in the United States. There's been, Washington, D.C. has had some too. The Ricky was invented in Washington, D.C. But
ooh, what's the Ricky? I have a son named Ricky.
Yeah, the Ricky is a classic cocktail that was invented in Washington, D.C., and it's gin or bourbon, lime juice, and carbonated water. It's very simple. It's served in a highball glass.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's old enough. I'm going to have to serve him a Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very cool. And it's gin or bourbon. Yeah. Popular during Prohibition. And gin surged in Prohibition because we could get it easily. But it does make an appearance, actually, in F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby, which is also a way of overdone dinner party.
Yeah.
But also equally as fun, and a ton of fun. But yeah, so all of these classic cocktails are what you would want to serve at this party. And you could give your party a speakeasy feel for sure. I know that recently, probably in the past 15 years, the idea of a speakeasy and classic cocktails has made a massive resurgence, and it's a lot of fun. So I like the idea of the pink lady because it plays right into the game.
There you go.
Yeah, it does. And it's a drink that most of your guests have probably never had. So thank you, Ryan, for the suggestion of the pink lady. And station number 5 is going to be dessert. I think dessert's best served in ballrooms, typically in the form of wedding cake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah. I mean, I think we should definitely have like kind of, I wouldn't say a wedding cake, but we should have a cake that has, have you ever had king cake?
I have not.
King cake is a cake that's traditionally made during Mardi Gras that has a baby in it, and it has like a little plastic baby. And it's eaten, and whoever gets the baby gets like good luck or whatever.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. And they're fun. It's a lot of fun. But I think you do that, and then you put the murder weapon inside the cake.
Instead of a baby.
Instead of a baby, yeah.
I like
so
that.
So it could be, if it was a candlestick that did it, you put the candlestick in there, and somebody's going to get the candlestick.
Yeah.
But they get to be quiet about it. They don't have to tell people like, oh, I got a candlestick. Or maybe you put like a couple of them in there in different slices. So that kind of leads into the hints of, oh, it was, the candlestick was the weapon, but you still have to figure out what room it happened in and who did it, right?
Yes.
So, yeah. It's probably the pink lady, if I had to guess. But then I think we should do like mini cheesecakes. And I love the idea of like some type of edible photo clues. So you can get these like edible photos now printed online and sent to you. Yeah, it's amazing. Or menus. I think clues that you could eat are a lot of fun, like the fortune cookies, but definitely some large cake. I think raspberry is great in it. I think doing like, or red velvet would be a good option here.
Ooh, yes,
yeah,
definitely.
Something red, something that has to deal with murder, and like lots of chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So you can do little bonbons that are in the shape of, or little chocolate pieces. Chocolate is surprisingly fickle, but easy to work with. If you just get melting chocolate, you can get tons of different little things that you could pour the chocolate into and have like little chocolate candlesticks and little chocolate ropes and little chocolate revolvers.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all kind of stuff made from chocolate. So
yeah. And then it's a lot of fun to do that because it inspires the guests to get involved and to kind of think about what they're eating. Plus, it's all clues, right? Like, the idea is we're here to solve a murder and have a good time. and that's always going to be a lot of fun. So that's the menu I'm thinking. 5 stations. 5 stations. That's a lot of work. You might have to hire someone for this one.
Probably.
You probably would.
But it'd be worth it.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you can get them involved. Someone creative enough. But from poison fruit to the carving knife station, I do believe your guests will be nibbling on drama and swallowing secrets. So coming up next, we set the stage. We're going to talk decor, lighting, costumes, and how to bring your minute to life. This is Doing Dinner, Chef Chris. Stay tuned.
Next time on Real Talk, we are joined by film critic E.J. Moreno to review the new horror film Weapons by writer-director Zach Krager, creator of 2022's hit Barbarian. Join the conversation Monday at 1 Eastern, 12 Central on WKGC.
The Trump administration has said that they do not separate families, but what I found is that there have been at least 9 families that have refused to be deported to their home countries. It's at that point that the government is separating these families.
I'm Michael Barbaro. That's Today on the Daily from the New York Times.
Weekdays at 5:30 p.m. on WKGC 90.7 FM.
Why do you visit a museum?
I think that's the most important thing about a museum, is that you leave there thinking differently.
Take another look at the controversies over museum collections.
If we didn't argue about them, we might as well forget about them.
And get to know Seoul, South Korea.
It's a terrific place to be jet-lagged because it's a 24-hour kind of city.
On the next Travel with Rick Steves. Sunday afternoons at 2 on WKGC FM 90.7, Panama City.
And welcome back to Doing Dinner. I'm your host, Chef Chris, and today on the show we are planning a Clue-themed dinner party. Yep, a murder mystery. Probably one that's been done quite a few times, but the game Clue has inspired many of those. It's also inspired plenty of murder mystery dinners, full-on restaurant concepts at this point, and tons of fun things to do with the movie and the game and the TV show and the books and all of the things that came from Clue. But on segment 3, we always like to talk about atmosphere and entertainment. We like to paint the picture of what this dinner party should look like, what the decor and setting is. So, now that we've got that menu, it's time to dress up our mansion. We're not just throwing a party. Whenever we do dinner, we like to create a world. So we're going to set that scene. Now, most of us don't have mansions in our house. Most of us don't have a mansion.
Unfortunately,
Unfortunately, no. So we don't necessarily have things like a conservatory or a study. But we do have things like the hallway and the entryway and a living room, which could be a lounge.
Yeah.
Or like a breakfast nook could be a lounge. All of us have kitchens, and most of us have dining rooms. So those 2 are pretty easy to deal with, right? We can also dress something up outside if you have like a nice porch or something. I think one of the things that we need to do is use like some cool vintage frames. And you could go to plenty of different stores, antique shops, thrift stores.
Yeah, I was going to say Goodwill,
All of these types of stores are going to be great for a party like this because they have things that are old and rustic and tarnished a little bit, which is okay for a game like this. We're building a 1920s mansion in our home, and that's what I kind of think about whenever I think about the game Clue. But some like vintage frames with like character portraits in them, and with the power of AI now and ChatGPT, you can take like pictures of myself and put it in there and say, make me look like a Clue character.
Exactly.
And it will come out like a Clue character, and you could put that in frames. So you could have like some pictures of your friends or dinner guests that are attending and have them in these old, because one of them did it.
Yeah, that would be fun.
One of them did it.
Yeah,
right?
that would be. So, that's a really good idea.
Yeah, and then you could have like murder weapon props on tables, fake, of course.
Yeah, definitely.
The candlesticks are easy to get, and the ropes are easy to get, and most of those things are pretty easy to source.
Yes.
And you don't have to buy them from, make them look like the game if you don't want to. I think lots of flickering LED candlelight is a must here for this. You need to be able to dim your lights if you can. I think having some really fun blood-stained linen napkins, and then like feathered mask and like handprints on the walls, you know, and things like that would be a lot of fun. Fingerprints and things like that. But I think with a dinner party like this, it is of the utmost importance to encourage your guests to come dressed as classic characters of what they are, which is becoming a theme on our show. I like to dress up, and I like other people to dress up. So
for sure,
yeah,
it's a vibe, you know.
It is. It really
gets
is.
you into that. Into it, so I mean, why not?
And we could even like offer accessories at the door if we wanted to. You know, we could have like the feather fan for Miss Peacock, or silk gloves for Miss Scarlet, or Colonel Mustard carried a pocket watch. And I wish pocket watches would come back. I think pocket watches are so cool.
They're neat.
Yeah,
they really are. 'Cause, I mean, isn't that kind of, not to get off subject, but the little, you know, on jeans how we have those little pockets?
Yeah.
And wasn't that what that was for?
I guess. I think so. I don't know, but I mean, they're cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I think when guests come in to our dinner party, I think one of the most important things that we should do is, or at least when we do the invite, because you should definitely send an invite to a party like this because you want people to be interactive. So at least one of your guests would, during the invite, would know that they are the one who did it. So, you know, you could start like just having like name tags with a little backstory, or everybody gets a little note and it's like a secret objective. Like each guest has one tiny little thing that they need to do that adds to the story. So it takes some thought. Luckily now we have plenty of technology that allows us to brainstorm. Google or OpenAI or whatever you like to use to collect information, Wikipedia. There's tons of things out there that will allow you to be as creative as you possibly can. And just build a party around the guests. And not every guest has to have one, but send some of them something, right?
Yes,
some of them should have something to do at the party that is minimal and doesn't require a whole lot of effort, but still adds to what's going on. Maybe they have a certain thing that they say, which would be fun. And I don't think the murder needs to already have happened whenever people are there, coming. I think it needs to unfold throughout the night.
Exactly.
Kind of like in acts. So, like, you have to figure out and devise a way that you want your guests to be involved in the murder. So, you know, maybe all the lights go out, and then, or maybe you walk out on the back porch and someone's laying there. So it's like, oh, what happened? You know,
who did that?
Who did it? No one knows. But I think it's also smart just to have a detective who's probably going to be the host to narrate each clue reveal whenever it happens. Especially if it's not the personal reveal clues that have to do with the food. And, you know, I think maybe involving the technology you have is a good idea. So playing stuff over your radio or your TV could be a fun clue. So things are pretty interactive. Now we even have the ability to print our own QR codes, which is kind of fun, right?
Definitely.
And a lot of fun.
You could go so many different directions with this. I mean, it sounds very exciting.
It would be a lot of fun. And everyone likes to be on their phone. Clearly everyone's going to be taking pictures at this party. So using QR codes, like posted up throughout your space to give clues would be very interactive and pretty cool because everyone's going to have their phone anyway.
Exactly.
You know? And but be sure to provide notebooks for your guests. I think every guest needs to have like a notebook that they can write in.
And one of those little short pencils.
Yeah, definitely one of the little short pencils. That would be fun. Now, when it comes to like, you could help here, like music, like 1940s jazz, 1920s like swing. But I think like having some dramatic music and scores would be a lot of fun. And you could incorporate sound effects too, like doors creaking, thunder, police sirens, you know, things that do that.
Yeah, really put people in, feel like that's really going on, you know.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that would be a lot of fun. And I think that all of these things, since having like, you know, like a musty candle, something that like brings in like old and mysterious, would be a lot of fun having that throughout. You could also use candlelight for lighting, which dims the mood and it kind of creates a mysterious vibe. I think that's a lot of fun too. And building as many clues as you can into the surroundings. What do you think on music? Like, I wonder who's some of the like 1940s, 1920s artists that would be fun to listen to at a party like this? Like Charlie Parker?
Yeah, honestly, I would have to use the old Google.
There's nothing wrong with using Google. Google is.
I am not familiar, but let's see this.
Yeah, like great jazz artists from the 1940s and 1920s. I love a lot of that type of music, but I know that there's tons of like I think they call it like bebop. Bebop is what it's called, right? I think like that's what it's called. So a lot of bebop and like just fun music that
Louis Armstrong.
Yeah, I love Louis Armstrong.
Jelly Roll Morton, Fletcher Henderson.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah, so there's a lot. I never heard of some. Of course, I've heard a few of them, but like King Oliver. So I mean, the
yeah.
I can't think of the word, but endless.
There's an endless amount of really amazing jazz artists from 1920s to the 1940s that you could use during this time, because I think I think music is imperative to something like this. I also think sound effects are too, because it kind of blends into what could be really, really cool. Maybe even have like some plays to like things like the Orient Express, you know, which is a novel by Agatha Christie, which kind of plays into like murder as well, would be fun. So like really diving into the idea of the murder mystery and honoring the game Clue would be tons of fun and really cool, especially because it's so creative and there's so much information out there about it. And that makes it easy. Like we've done tons of dinner parties on the show that were interactive and involved things, but never have we done one where there's so much information of people that have done one before. And I thought it was cool whenever someone called me and said, "Hey, we want to do a Clue party. What can you do?" I'm like, "Oh wow, it's this one's endless, you know."
Yeah.
Like, this one has so much information out there to find on it, and I mean, you just Google Clue party and it comes up. Like,
go down rabbit holes.
Yeah, I mean, there's tons of Clue party information out there. That's a lot of fun, and there's tons of things that you can buy for it, which makes it a lot easier for those that aren't as creative, that don't want to come up with their own ideas. Like literally, you can buy a party package for a Clue game on Amazon right now, and it's pretty simple. There's YouTube videos on how to host a murder mystery dinner based on Clue. Let's see. I did give it a Google, and it came up with like, I forget the amount of results, but it was well into the hundreds of millions.
Goodness.
Yeah. Of you know, tons of guides and lots of fun.
But obviously, it's a very, very popular, you know, type of themed dinner party type of. It's just murder mystery. I mean, it's like you said.
Oh yeah.
There's just been so many different things created around it that it's I can understand why there'd be that many search results.
Yeah. And there's like cool like bags, that evidence bags and crime scene tape and like all kinds of stuff like that. That would be a lot of fun. On Amazon, if you go, there's tons of like crime scene like detective backdrops, and it's so huge, and the idea of it is so big that it makes it a lot of fun. And toppers and toothpicks and all kinds of stuff like that, which I really like that, because it is a great party for someone who wants to get into dinner parties. It doesn't have to be incredibly elaborate, which is what we normally do on the show. It can be very simple and done pretty affordably and pretty quickly. And that's the fun part about this game and the idea of doing a murder mystery at home. Because it's really not that hard. It's one of the easier ones to do, I think. Especially if you just do it very basically. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
No, not at all. So.
It makes me want to do one.
They're fun. We should definitely do one.
For sure.
Yeah. And then, when it all comes together, the flavors, the ambience, the intrigue, you're just not hosting dinner. You're directing an immersive mystery. And you're giving your guests a night that they'll talk about for a long time. This is Doing Dinner with Chef Chris. We'll be back after the break to wrap it all up.
People are who build community. The self-starters, the friendly neighbors, the ambitious workers. And that's exactly who our members are. We're PCU. And with us, banking is made better. So whether you need a rewards checking account, financial products that assist with travel, easy business loans, or affordable auto loans, come see us so we can build the community together. Panhandle Credit Union. Banking made better.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
Thinking about retirement? Make sure a My Social Security account is a part of your plan. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can find out if you're eligible to receive benefits, compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates, view spousal benefit estimates, and more. Plan for your future. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Welcome back to Doing Dinner, our final segment. I'm Chef Chris, your host on WKGC 90.7. And we've just walked through the mansion, cooked up some crime, and danced in a ballroom of suspense. Let's wrap this thing up with a final bow and the last few acts, and the whodunit mystery will be solved.
Yes, I'm excited.
It is. It's a lot of fun. Because I think, like we were saying earlier, you separate this party into acts. And Act 1, I think, would be guest arrival and welcome cocktails. And I think the welcome cocktail could be a little clue. I think there could be a little clue in that. And when the guests arrive, you have to give them something, right? So maybe it's an evidence bag that has like their name tags in it and like maybe any types of things that you need them to do throughout the evening. And not everyone has to have a job, so to speak. Some guests don't need a job. So one guest is going to find out they're the person who dies, and one guest is going to find out the person who murdered them.
When do they find these things out? Like at the beginning?
They find out at the beginning.
So they're going to know throughout the whole entire thing that they're going to be the one. They just got to keep it on the down low.
One person is going to die, and one person is going to be the person who did it. And then, the person who did it is going to find out that they did it with a candlestick, and it's up to them to kind of push people away from that.
Yeah.
You don't want to get found. You don't want to be found out.
No, definitely
so
don't.
They get to play very suspicious, and I would handpick this person on purpose. It would probably be like someone who's very kind, who you would never think would do it, right?
Exactly.
Because most likely everyone's going to kind of know each other there, which would be fun. And they'd be like, no, that person would never do this. They would never be devious at all.
Definitely throw them off.
Yeah, you want to throw them off. And then Act 2 would be like the guests explore the stations and begin clue collecting. So this is like when we're eating and talking and going through the house and walking around and doing all those things. And having clues stationed throughout the food is a really fun idea. And it can be done pretty simply, especially with things like fortune cookies. Right, so, and some of them are meant to lead people in the right direction, and some of them are meant to lead people in the wrong direction, which can be fun.
Yes.
Yeah. And then I think Act 3 is when the murder happens, and I think that before people start having dessert. So in between, like the stations being opened and the dessert station being opened, murder happens. Somebody gets murdered. And
we're going to finish our dessert though before we figure it out.
Yeah. And then Act 4 is whenever I think we should have our guests vote on who the murderer is and what room it happened in and with what weapon it happened with.
Yeah, because doing it before the dessert gives them time to kind of ponder and come up with what they think may have happened, and
because it encourages your guests to create the characters in and out of their head, right? And it allows room for improv too, because this is fun. You're at least going to have somebody there who's a comedian or somebody who loves to act or is, who wants to go off script, who wants to create fun too, which I love. And as a host, you have to have fun as well.
Yeah, that's the whole point.
Yeah, you have to have fun as well. That's why we do this. And that's the cool part about hosting dinner parties is you get to create things for people you love or care about and I think that's the fun. So Act 4, guest vote on the murder. That's when we're going to do it. And then Act 5, the big reveal, toast, drinking, fun. Everybody just hangs out then. The murder's over. Somebody got it right and somebody got it wrong, and we figure that out. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Altogether, it sounds like it'd be a very fun event, really.
Yeah.
It's more than just a dinner party. It's a whole event,
Oh, yeah. Murder mystery dinners are tons of fun. I don't know if you've never been to one, they usually have them in all communities. Like, you can find them near you. Some restaurants are based off of it. There's even a train ride that is a murder mystery dinner.
Ooh.
Yeah. I mean, there's plenty of things out there that you can do with this and in ways you could go. So I've never done a murder mystery dinner, surprisingly enough. I've done quite a few dinner parties in my life, and this is not one I've done. I've actually kind of shied away from it because I just feel like it's been done a ton. But whenever this person called me and was like, hey, we want you to do a clue party for a 50th birthday, I was like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, how interactive do you want this to be? And they're like, we want it to be very interactive. We want you to be part of the game and your staff to be part of the game. And I'm like, okay, well that's a lot of fun. Now I get to play.
Yeah. Instead of just being there watching, you're part of it.
Yeah, I get to become part of the game and I get to create things that I love, and I think that's a lot of fun. And I just did a dinner party this past week that was a lot of fun called Golf and Garden, and it was pretty good. It was very challenging. I shopped and cooked a menu all on the same day, not knowing what I was going to do, which is fun and crazy, but there were some successes there and there were some failures there, but that's part of it,
Exactly. You live and you learn.
You live and you learn. Life is a roller coaster. There's loop-de-loops, there's hills, there's ups and downs, corkscrews, all kinds of things come out.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it. So today we've proven that dinner can be more than just a meal. It can be a mystery, a game, a stage. You can have a story. So whether it's Miss Scarlet with a shrimp skewer or Colonel Mustard with the prime rib carving knife, remember, it's not just about who done it. It's about how you host it. Thanks for joining me on Doing Dinner with Chef Chris on WKGC 90.7. Until next time, stay curious, stay hungry, and don't forget to leave room for dessert and a few mysterious surprises.
listening to 90.7 FM WKGC, Panama City.